In 1936, a clay pot outside Baghdad produced measurable electricity, but mainstream archaeology buried the explanation, and the reason why is stranger than the device itself. You never learned this in school. There's a reason. Someone built a working battery 2,000 years before Alessandro Volta, and the institutions responsible for investigating it quietly decided it wasn't worth the trouble. The year is 1936. An Austrian archaeologist named Wilhelm König is sorting through artifacts at the Iraq Museum in Baghdad. He finds a terracotta jar, 5 inches tall. Inside, a copper cylinder. Inside that, an iron rod held in place with asphalt. The whole assembly is sealed at the top. König knows exactly what he's looking at. He trained as an electrician before he became an archaeologist. He fills the jar with an acidic solution. Vinegar works fine. The jar produces 1.1 volts of electric current. It's dated to approximately 250 BCE, 2,250 years before the first modern battery. König publishes his findings. He labels them galvanic cells. He describes the materials, the construction, the measurable output. His paper goes out to the scientific community in 1940, and then something strange happens. Nothing. No follow-up excavations. No institutional investigation into what the jars were actually used for. No peer response that attempts to disprove the mechanism. Willard Gray at the General Electric High Voltage Laboratory builds a replica that same year. It works, produces current, exactly as described. The BBC films a functioning model in 1979. Still works. A research team in 2001 produces a working replica and uses it to electroplate a small metal object in under an hour. This is not fringe science. This is documented, tested, repeatable, and they found more than one. Dozens of similar jars have surfaced across the same region, the same archaeological period, the same construction pattern. You were never told about a single one of them, and that's not even the strangest part. Electroplating, bonding one metal onto another using electric current, was supposedly invented in 1805. That date is in your textbook. It's built into the official story of how human civilization developed. But there are ancient artifacts from the same region, same era, that carry metallic coatings so thin and so uniform that modern analysts cannot account for them using any technique pre-industrial people were supposed to possess. Objects plated in gold and silver, spread at a consistency that should require controlled electrical current to achieve. The battery exists. The artifacts exist. The chemistry connects them. And yet the explanation that ancient Mesopotamian craftsmen understood and applied electrochemical processes 2 millennia ago has never been seriously pursued by any major archaeological institution. Not once. In 85 years. But stop here. Because here's what actually doesn't add up. The dismissal isn't scientific. The scholars who reject the battery interpretation don't run experiments. They don't publish refutations. They simply call it implausible and move on. The go-to counterargument is that no ancient texts describe electrical processes in Mesopotamia, but absence of documentation is not evidence of absence. Rome used advanced concrete for centuries without writing down the formula. The Greeks engineered the Antikythera mechanism without leaving a single schematic. We accept those achievements anyway. So why does a working, replicated, electrically active device get less rigorous investigation than a clay tablet? The answer isn't scientific, and they know it. Here's what they never put in the curriculum. The architecture of human history, the approved version, is built around a specific sequence. Primitive, developing, modern, that sequence is not just descriptive, it is a justification. It is the intellectual scaffolding beneath colonialism, beneath the hierarchy of civilizations, beneath the argument, implicit, never stated, that certain cultures needed to be conquered and educated by more advanced ones. If ancient Mesopotamia, present-day Iraq, had functioning electrical technology 2,000 years ago, that sequence doesn't bend. It breaks, not metaphorically, structurally, because the implications don't stop at one clay jar, they radiate outward. To every anomalous artifact, every out-of-place technology, every civilization that mainstream history quietly ranked beneath the ones that later colonized it. König made his discovery while working under British-administered Iraq. The finds entered a museum controlled by Western archaeological institutions. The paper was published, and then the institutions whose authority depended on a particular version of human progress collectively chose not to look harder. That's not a conspiracy. It's something more mundane and more dangerous. It's a narrative protecting itself, which means you have to ask the harder question. If they didn't seriously investigate this, a working battery, a replicated result, dozens of matching jars, anomalous artifacts that fit the mechanism, what else didn't they investigate? What other technologies, what other knowledge, what other achievements from the wrong civilizations got catalogued, labeled ritual object or purpose unknown, and quietly filed away? The Baghdad Battery didn't disappear. It's sitting in the Iraq Museum right now. The object survived. The investigation didn't. So here's what nobody has ever explained. If the jar was simply a storage vessel, the official fallback, why does it produce electricity when you fill it with vinegar? Storage jars don't do that. Only batteries do. And if someone in Baghdad, 2,000 years ago, built a device that functions exactly like a modern electrochemical cell, what else did they understand that we decided, for our own reasons, wasn't worth finding out?